Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today, I'm going to be doing my top 5 ranking for characters in each class this season for the end of Season 1 of Dragon Ball GEKISHIN SQUADRA. Now, the thing about this one is that we got a lot more damage dealers than anybody else, but that doesn't mean that many changes haven't happened since the beginning of the game's release. And dipping into Season 1, I think so many changes have happened that have skyrocketed some characters and also left some characters in the dust. So if you guys like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get started. First things first, I did want to talk about the technical characters because this is where the greatest upsets have happened so far. Now, a lot of people used to really glaze a lot of the characters that used to be in the top 5. But let's talk about the only honorable mention I'm actually going to put up here, and that's going to be Krillin. Krillin is the honorable mention for this top 5. He used to be like really up there, but the meta has flipped. The reason why is because some characters have gotten buffs that are out the wazoo, just absolutely insane. And the person that didn't even make top 5 this season was Hit. Hit and his playstyle have just completely fell off entirely. And even if you're like the top Hit player in the world, it doesn't matter because other characters have more useful jobs and more aggressive approaches to what you already do. And the only reason why Hit is even winning games this season is if you're playing anything below B rank and stuff like that. Let's be real. And people don't pay attention to Invisible Guy on the map. All right. So let's get started with who's going to be number 5 this season. Number 5 goes to 17. Now 17 and the way that his ability works, which allows him to pretty much negate buffed people, literally is just going to ruin the meta, even leading into this meta that we're leading into for season 2. And his approach to the game has just gotten much more aggressive in a good way compared to a lot of other characters like Krillin and stuff like that. And the reason why, and this is the toughest part about this whole thing, number 5 was going to either be Krillin or 17. The reason why 17 takes a spot is literally just because 17 has the ability to nerf and shut down a lot of people and also take advantage of people who are nerfed and have debuffs, which is just exactly what we want to see for dealing with people like Gohan, dealing with people like Frieza, dealing with a lot of people that, rely on these buffs to be absolutely broken and just shut them down entirely. And I think that's why 17 really pops off this season, even though some people in the lower ranks don't really agree with me there. Let's go ahead and go into number 4. Number 4 being Gohan. Now, a lot of people are going to be upset about this pick, and the reason why is because Gohan has shown his true colors, and he is quite crazy, especially with his ultimate, his kick ability, and stuff like that. Like, he's always been an impressive unit since day one, and the reason why Krillin doesn't take his place is because he brings variety to the match, and a lot of utility with his buffs and the way that he performs, and I think that he's only going to get better through time, but we'll see how this performs in this one, because after the recent buffs, especially with Majin Buu, Frieza, Gohan just can't really deal with some characters in the game. And let's talk about some of those characters right now. That is going to be Majin Buu at number 3. The reason why Majin Buu's at number 3 is because of how aggressive you can play this guy. He shuts down many characters now. They gave him more HP. They gave him more range. They gave him more damage. He's really impressive this season, and I think that after all these buffs that he's gotten, he could only get better from here. Now, I do think he still deserves some more buffs because his healing used to be really good, but his healing is still not as impressive as it used to be. But playing an attacker, Majin Buu, and pushing the enemies away and playing more with a lot of HP and stuff and just really selling it home is what makes Majin Buu so freaking good this season, and I was very impressed with his outcome. Frieza being number 2 for this season has just made the most sense. Let's be real. Frieza, with the ability to now release Zarbon incredibly quickly, the buffs that Frieza has gotten to his troops and stuff like that have just made him an absolute monster, and I think he's a little overtuned right now. and he could possibly be number one, but there's a couple of reasons why he's not, and that mostly because rat play exists, and playing on a team is not really on Frieza's bingo card, even though he can support your teammates just as fine. But that's where Boss Killer Frieza gets toppled by the brand new tech, which is Gotenks. And the reason why Gotenks is at number one spot is because he has so much utility, so much range, and so much stopping power. Even though his damage is not exactly there compared to a lot of characters like Krillin, Gohan, and such, he still has such a unique kit that it's incredibly hard to deal with, especially giving his teammates kamikaze ghosts and giving himself kamikaze ghosts, stuff like that, and the ability to pretty much stun people out of being able to even use moves with his first skill. He's just got so much utility, and it's absolutely crazy. And that has nothing to do with his second skill either, which is like the ring. The Galactic Donut is his least used move in the entire game compared to everything else he's got. And that just says something right there. The fact that he can utilize every single one of his moves no matter what and not struggle at all in a team fight and even exceed the expectations of many other people within that team fight through many, many use cases, such as his ultimate, such as his kamikaze attack, such as the ability he could chase people down even after getting an enemy kill. Securing team KOs has never been easier without this guy on the team. Securing a team KO used to be whenever you would find the last guy running away and a hit would go and catch up to him and beat him down. No, now it got easier because now your entire team can join the beatdown in a matter of seconds because of that final buff that he can get the entire team, which is just a speed buff. Even though that speed buff is just absolutely insane. And that's just talking about tech. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the next team, and that is going to be tanks. Now, tanks. We didn't get any tanks this season, and I would say that the changes don't really matter too much this season. But there is a clear victor compared to a lot of other people. And that is just, it's a really, really rough one because the honorable mention here is going to be Cell. Because Cell used to be like, he was kind of like the regeneration guy who would be able to like withstand, but he still struggles a lot in terms of dealing with people pressuring him in the early game and pressuring him towards the end game. He just doesn't really have too much of a kit that makes people go, oh, maybe I should run away. He doesn't have that kind of kit. He just has like a very technical kit, which doesn't really allow him to perform against a lot of other tanks in the game, especially against a lot of other attackers in the game. But number 5, leading into Zamasu. Zamasu could have been so much more. The buffs they gave him were decent. The regeneration buff, decent, but not enough to make me go, okay, Zamasu's like top 3. No, Zamasu's still top 5, but he's, the only issue with Zamasu is the fact that they don't give him enough regeneration and they don't allow him to pop off enough with his regeneration. He just gets shut down even after getting his regeneration, and it's just not enough. He needs more defense, he needs more armor, he needs more HP. I think the nerfs that he got after the second beta were just not necessary, and especially after the first beta too. But, of course, I digress. Maybe we'll see more and more out of this guy, but I think that Zamasu's next on the chopping block once GT Vegeta actually drops this season. Baby being at number 4. Now, Baby gets a lot of trash. Like, he gets just a lot of hate just because of the fact that he requires you to work with a teammate. And honestly, I totally understand that hate. He's best with a teammate. He's amazing with a teammate. By himself, not really. His first skill really gives him a lot of stopping power, but there's other people on this list who just do a lot more with 1 to 2 more skills, or even 3 skills that just allow them to perform a lot better than Baby, hands down. There's not really much I can say besides Baby really performed very well this season, and I still think he's definitely going to be top 5 next season, especially if we get to see a little more buffs on the damage scale for Baby. Number 3, Kufla. Now, Khalifa, Khalifa. The thing about her, right, is that she is definitely number 3 because of her ability to taunt. But after that, if someone else joins any fight and she already wasted one of her taunt skills, it's kind of already over for her. Especially in a lot of encounters where a lot of people could outlast her. And these are the issues that a lot of these tanks tend to deal with, like Zamasu. But at least she can control the fight a lot longer and really be able to perform. But I think she still deserves some buffs in terms of her ultimate attack landing a lot easier. I love the gimmick. It's supposed to be like a spray and pray ability. But if her ultimate attack landed a lot better, she would definitely be a lot higher. And if her provocation wouldn't rely on the gimmick of using the helper, maybe she'd be a lot higher too. But I think that she really, really just needs a lot more damage in order to really go against the other tanks. Still, I'm very impressed with the way that she's performed this season. And honestly, I can't wait to see how she performs in this next season, especially against someone like GT Vegeta, who is more controlling of fights and stuff like that. Maybe she'll struggle even a little bit more than she does against our next 2 tanks. Of course, number 2, being cooler. Now, the thing is, the difference between the two beings at the very end here is instinct. No, I'm just kidding. So the thing about Cooler, right? Incredible kit. We love him. He does the job. Super solid tank / attacker. Hybrid tank, I would say. The only problem is if you catch him with his pants down and he can't pop his passive, he's pretty much dead in the water. But his passive lasts for so long, it's almost like you can never not trigger his passive. And what I see a lot of Cooler players doing is accidentally letting go of his passive, not allowing himself to trigger it, or not abusing the fact that his ultimate is enhanced with his passive. Come on, guys. I made a whole video about this. How do I still see Cooler players not playing Cooler correctly? Come on, guys. It's not that hard. He's incredible. He's literally number 2 in the game because of how easy he is to play, and people are still failing to trigger his passive. Stop failing to trigger his passive, and maybe you'll start playing like an actual Z-rank player. All right. Of course, Vegeta being number 1 this season. No changes have been made to Vegeta at all throughout all of Season 1 since the beta. Still performing at top figure, and some would say biased. Honestly, it's biased if he's the best character in the game no matter what. So freaking, the thing is, like, I get a lot of like complaints about my picking of Vegeta. It's like he doesn't do enough damage. He's pretty what do you call it, weak by himself. You guys are not playing Vegeta correctly. You're not watching people who play Vegeta correctly. If you take Vegeta into an endgame tournament versus all these other tanks, Vegeta still comes out by himself. Because Vegeta just is ridiculous. He's got the most abusive kit in the game, allowing you to control the fight. Even if you don't think you're controlling the fight, you're controlling the fight with Photon Bomb. You're controlling the fight with the explosion. You're controlling the fight with your energy blasts. You're controlling the fight with your ultimate attack. There's no time in the game where you're not controlling the entire fight. And he still does that and also puts damage out at the exact same time. We've already said with the Super Vegeta build, which I did a video on, which was the fact that he could play an entire aggressive attack card kit and still perform better than every other tank here. It's Vegeta. There's no way. He's the perfect character, the perfect design ever for this game. And they nerfed Goku. Like, how are you going to nerf Goku and just knock him? You know, we'll talk about him in a second, okay? We'll talk about him in a second when we get there. But, of course, Vegeta is still going to be number 1 in the game. Absolute tower tank. Absolute team fighter tank. Just absolute monster. We love Vegeta. Vegeta could stay. All right. Now for the top 5 of attackers. Now, top 5 of attackers is going to be the most controversial, mostly because there's so many attackers compared to every other class in the game. And it's only going to involve more characters in the future, I'm guessing, because there's way more characters that fit the attacker role than anything. But let's go ahead and get into the top 5. And first things first, we got to get into the honorable mentions, which is probably going to be the most controversial yet. And those are going to be, well, I think should I only do? Oh, let me know what you guys think down below about which ones you think would have been the most appropriate honorable mentions. But I think the only ones that really matter are 2 characters here. And that's going to be Daima Goku, who has performed very, very well this season and got a very, very nice buff to his M1s. But he's still the same one trick and has still the same ultimate, which means that he's really not going to perform as crazy as some of the other characters on this list. And we'll discuss those reasons why later on in the future, probably, if he gets any more buffs. But he's still very, very good, very, very nice. But is he top 5 anymore? I mean, not anymore. Is he top 5? Not yet. I would say he still needs a little more love before we can say he's top 5. Maybe some Trunks levels of love. The other honorable mention here for this season is going to be Goku. They butchered my boy. They butchered Goku by nerfing the heck out of him, reducing his damage, increasing his cooldown rate, and just literally just doing too much. He is like number 6 in terms of top 5, and the reason why is because there's 5 characters that just do better than him right now, and it's really, really sad to see Goku not perform at his peak, but at least he's not like, he's still top 10. He's still up there. You know what I mean? And I guess if he gets another buff or something like that, I'd be very impressed. As of this moment, Goku's just not really performing as well as I'd like him to in terms of the top 5 in the game. Number 5 is going to be Trunks. Trunks has really shined this season more than any in terms of stealing bosses, to stealing critters, to really snowballing so quick. If you don't shut him down early, he just continues to be an absolute menace. And I think that that's what a lot of these characters share at the top 5, is snowballing incredibly quickly and becoming absolute menaces. And I think it's very impressive to see someone like Trunks really stick it out, especially where someone like Goku got nerfed pretty hard in that same regard. Trunks is really showing off this season, I gotta say. And I think he's really going to perform well in Season 2, especially because he is one of the only characters with a hybrid kit. Number 4. That's going to be Goku. Goku Super Saiyan 3 from the Wrath of the Dragon movie. Goku from Super Saiyan 3 Wrath of the Dragon movie has been very, very nice with the abilities that he has, such as Super Kamehameha, which is a charged up Kamehameha, does a lot of damage. His Dragon Fist, which is incredibly impressive, especially for an ultimate, does a lot of instant damage, which we love to see with some overall tick damage. And then after that, we also have his instant transmission skill, which is very unique and makes him very, very busted in terms of being at the right place at the right time. And whenever you actually spam the moves together, you will be able to instant transmission Kamehameha, which also just instant cast all that charged up damage. And then you could also follow that up with the Dragon Fist, making him very, very versatile in terms of doing damage relatively quickly. So I think that Super Saiyan 3 Goku definitely deserves his spot at top 4. But let's go ahead and get into number 3, and that's going to be the Gammas. The Gammas, after they got their buff, have really shined out of the entire roster in terms of speed and durability and adjustments to their damage. The fact that Gamma 2 is now going to be the fast and aggressive attacker, while Gamma 1 is a tankier ranged defender, makes this duo kit so insane, especially with the adjustments that were made with their HP and also with their damage. Their speed is phenomenal now that they don't deal with any end lag striking or any types of issues with combos. Now they can perform combos faster than most of the entire cast in the game, except for one other person, which we'll talk about in just a moment. That's going to go on to number 2. Number 2 being Android 18. Now, this was the hardest choice to make right here, only in terms of Android 18 being an absolute superstar at dealing with people and entire teams of people in a matter of seconds, especially because she is the highest damage dealer in the entire game in terms of speed and combos. And she's just an absolute monster and was number one until we got the most absolutely unnecessary buffs in the entire game given to Piccolo, which is number one in the game right now. And this is going to be controversial, but that's because Piccolo is a monster. And if you have not fought a Piccolo in the end game, or someone who just loves games like League of Legends, Dota, all this stuff like that, you know how to play a character like Piccolo, who knows how to snipe, and he's an absolute monster with the special beam cannon, now charging at 3 seconds with his explosion wave attack, just insta casting a massive attack, and stuff like that, with the ability to do crazy amounts of damage with his M1s. It's just an incredible kit, man. There's not really much you can say or do against this guy, especially because he's sniping almost everyone in the entire roster. But of course, let me know what you guys think down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell down below. I'll see you guys in a future video. Take it easy and peace out.